Shalom. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Hashem Rakakadash, the Balanci Apostles and Elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the brothers that pushes truth week in, week out in sincerity. To the brothers and sisters that follow this truth. To the house of David, which by the fault of this kingdom of heaven, he said to you, Shalom. This is your brother Daniela from Trinidad GMS. Bringing to you another video. Hopefully it's edifying, right? I know this video is going to be, well, it's not really against Gino Jennings this time. It's really against this pastor here and something he said. He was speaking against Gino Jennings. In nowhere this video, in nowhere shape or form defending Gino, but there are things that he speaks of, that is true, right? And then a lot of things he goes off on, right? But this video is particularly not particularly Salakia about Gino Jennings. Another tongue twister there. This video is more about the validity of how valid the Apocrypha is, how important the Apocrypha is in the Bible. And the word Apocrypha simply means hidden things. Why was it hidden? It was hidden by the Roman Catholic Church, in the time of the Bible destruction group, right? They destroyed that part of the Bible. They took it out because there's a lot of a history. Now, it's well known that if you don't know the history of the scriptures of the New Testament, if you don't have the history, you wouldn't understand. If you don't have the history of the Old Testament, you wouldn't understand what the New Testament is all about, right? And this pastor here, he doesn't believe in the Apocrypha, right? So this video would be, to prove him wrong, to show you that the Apocrypha is indeed part of the Bible and not just 66 books. Books were taken out, right? Important information was taken out of the scriptures, to teach a certain narrative that the Bible is for everybody. But when you have the Apocrypha now, you read the history of the Bible. It explains exactly what is going on in the Greek captivity. That is the only captivity that it doesn't have a history. There's a history of Babylon, the Medo-Persians, right? And you read the Bible, you see all those captivities. The only captivity you don't see is the Greek captivity, right? When you read the Apocrypha, which the books that were taken out, the history is in there. That is how you know the books, they belong together with the scriptures, right? So they hear what this pastor saying. He trying to debunk Gino Jennings, but in his saying now, in trying to debunk Gino Jennings, he also trying to debunk the fact that Gino Jennings uses the Apocrypha, which originally it was already in there and it got taken out. Well, a lot of people don't believe in the Apocrypha because they think it's not supposed to be in there. And this video is really about that. We're going to prove that it's supposed to be in there. And we're going to show you the shortcomings of the 66 books and where it continues in the Apocrypha. Right? We're going to show you the pages that were taken out and they continue from. Still like it. I'm going to show you where the scriptures continues from where it ends in the 66 books. Right? So let me listen to what this pastor is saying here. There you go.
The 66 books is enough for me. He's dealing with lost books.
He said the 66 books is enough for him. He dealing with lost books. But the books weren't really lost. They were hidden. Hidden from who? It was hidden from the ignorant. It was hidden from you people. For a reason. Right? Also, the Apocrypha, it condemns the Roman Catholic Church. So it makes sense why the Roman Catholic Church would take those books out. So you wouldn't see that the Bible really against the Roman Catholic Church today. Right?
He's a liar. He said, I come in the volume of the book, not the lost books.
Right. He said he came in the volume of the book. The volume of the book is the new and the old. And part of the old is the Apocrypha. Right? So let's I'll show you right here. I'll show you right here. Look at John, watch. I'm gonna show you where there's certain things in the Bible that they don't show you, they only show you in the books that were taken out. Look. This is John 10 and 22. Right? It says, and it was at Jerusalem, the feast of what? Dedication. And it was winter. You see? Let me read the whole thing. The whole thing, Salake. Read the whole thing. Not the whole thing, but let me read to give more context. There was I read from 19. From 19? Where should I read from? I'll read from 19. There was a division thereof again amongst the Jews for these sins. Now, let me go down a little more. It's John 10. I'll read from... I'll read from 15. It says, as the Father knoweth me, even so know I the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep, and other sheep I have which are not of this fold, them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice, and they shall be one fold and one shepherd. Therefore doeth my Father love me, because I lay down my life, that I might take it again. No man take it from me, but I lay down of myself. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it again. This commandment have I received of my Father. Therefore was a division, therefore again among the Jews for these sins. Right, so Yahushua was saying certain things and there was against it. Right? It continues in 20. And many of them said, he had a devil. Right? And is mad. He was calling Yahushua a madman. Why listen to him? It says, why hear he? Why hear him? So they say, why only listen to this man? He's a madman. Yeah? And he had a devil. You know? 21. Others said, these are not the words of him that had a devil. Some believe they say, nah, these are not the words of a devil. Can the devil open the eyes of the blind? Right? And then it goes on to say, and it was in Jerusalem, the feast of dedication. And it was winter. Right? So all this commotion was going on at the time of what? The feast of what? dedication. Where else in the scriptures, in the Bible, in the 66 books, could you find the feast of dedication? Nowhere. You can't find it. The only place you could find it is where? In the Apocrypha, Maccabees. This is, gotta get it on Maccabees 4 and 36. So okay, Maccabees 4 and 36. The feast of dedication is what? Is really Hanukkah. It's called Hanukkah, right? See, it says here, watch. The feast of dedication, widely known as Hanukkah, is recorded in the first books of Maccabees. It out of the, you see, it was taken out. You see? Yeah. So let me read, watch. In 1 Maccabees 4 and 36. Then said Judas and his brethren, behold, our enemies are discomforted. Let us go up and cleanse the and dedicate the sanctuary. What it said in John, watch. And it was in Jerusalem, the feast of dedication. Watch. It look, shows the history, where the history of the feast of dedication, which part it is? In the Apocrypha. You see, when you read through it goes back to the Judas Maccabees, when they defiled the temple. If you read, if you other read, I ain't gonna read all truth. There's a lot to read, but you will see the history of what the feast of dedication. That is the only place. You have to go to the Apocrypha to find it. So this proves, right? There's one scripture that proves that, look, I'll read a little piece. Let me just read a little piece. Then said Judas and his brethren, behold, our enemies are discomforted. Let us go up and cleanse it and dedicate the sanctuary. Upon this, all the hosts assembled themselves together and went up into the Mount Zion. And when they saw the sanctuary desolate and the altar profane, and the gates burned up and shrubs growing in the courts as in a forest or in one of the mountains, yea, and the priests' chambers pulled down, they rent their clothes and made great lamentations and cast ashes upon their heads and fell down flat to the ground on their faces. Right? Yeah, this happened at the Feast of Dedication. Right? I think when you read Maccabees, also in Maccabees 2 somewhere, find this one. Right, so the history, this one. Right, but somebody in the comments, if they want, they could comment in the comments on. But the history of the Feast of Dedication is where? It's in the Apocrypha. First Maccabees. See, 2 of 4 is 1. I think it is also 2. Another way you know that the book continues in the Apocrypha. Look, let me show you all one more again. The next scripture here. I think it's Esther 10, and the last. When you read Esther 10, verse 3, it ends like it ends like the chapter it missing. Or for Mordecai the Jew was next unto King Ahasuerus, a great among the Jews, and accepted of the multitude of the brethren, seeking the wealth of his people and seeking a place to all his seed. And you see how it end? It end like like the story it unfinished. You know? Where you gonna find it? In the Apocrypha. Let me go to the Apocrypha. Watch. Addition to Esther. You start from 10. Where it end? It end by in 3. See? Watch. And where it continue? In the Apocrypha. Look, 4. It continue from here. Watch. You can lie and look. So, right where it end, speaking peace to all his seed. Look at continuing. Then the Macedonia said, God had done these things. For I remember a dream which I saw concerning these matters, and nothing thereof had failed. Where it continue? Look. It continuing in Esther in where? Esther in what? Watch. The Apocrypha. Additions to Esther. See where it continue? So, yes. All the books were together. Watch. Look. King James, look. We seen all the books here. Watch. First Esdras, second Esdras. See? Watch. Look all the rest of the books here. They were all together. See? So what this pastor talking about? It's a bag of rubbish. The books belongs together. Right? And Gino Jennings himself don't even know that. He don't even know that. Because he don't teach that. He just pull scriptures out from the Apocrypha and don't even. It's really hypocrisy if you're saying the Bible is for everybody and then you're reading from the Apocrypha. This is what this man doing. He doesn't understand. There's a history, the history of the Greek captivity in the Apocrypha. It was taken out. And what does the scripture says? If it take any words out from this book, what will happen? Well, let me see what the scriptures say about that. It says something about that in Revelations. I think it's in the last chapter. Last chapter it says if you remove anything from this book, it will remove. Where it going? It's really pure. This is the sheets. It says anyone. 22. I think it's 22 and Salaki. If I find it. Right. 19. Look. And if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, because why? In the Apocrypha holds a lot of prophecy. The Most High shall take away his part out of the book of life. So guess what?
66 books is enough for me. He did it with lost books.
So guess what? You saying these 66 books is lost is enough for you. But here what the scripture says. If any man shall take away from the words of this book, of the prophecy of God shall take away his part from out of the book of life and out of the holy city. So you will not be taking part in New Jerusalem. These pastors, these pastors are finished. They don't teach. They don't teach the full teaching. As Paul said, he to bring the whole truth, right? And not peace. Lord say he came the volume of the book. The volume of the book is not 66 books. It's more than that. Right? You missing out. You're missing out on salvation. And you know he looks like a Jake, a bald head Jake with no beard. Looks like a damn alien. No hair on your face. Right? Hope, and with that, hope you know this lesson was edifying. I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Hashem Harakakadash, double honors again to the apostles and the elders of great milestone that taught us this truth. Salutations to the brothers that push this truth week in, week out. Right? To the brothers that believe and follow this truth in sincerity. The house of David, again, by which is the house of David, which by default is the kingdom of heaven. Right? This is your brother Daniela. Till next video. Sima wat lababala. Shalom to the elect.